you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz. I'm here today with...
Zero.
How you doing this past 2 weeks?
Doing all right. There's a little bit of a dev push on my day job, but I think that's all because there's going to probably be a deep freeze once the holidays start kicking around, because it seems like most game studios go into hibernation mode right around the Thanksgiving holidays. So lots of quiet time for introspection, personal projects, and whatever else, because I presume my role is probably going to be very, very, very dead.
Yeah. I mean, you're still getting paid for the time, right? Or are they saying that you're pretty much on your own to make money?
Thankfully, I will be paid for the time that I clock.
Good.
But I just have to find projects to do if I don't have anything assigned to me.
Good. I need to apologize for last week. We were supposed to do this review last week. I ended up getting sick. I had a sore throat and cold. It was really hard for me to talk, so we rescheduled it for this week. Bearing in mind, I'm not 100%, so if it turns out that my throat gets a little coarse or my voice gets a little off, that'll be the warning for you guys. So, again, I apologize, but, I'm better than I was. All right, Zero, so we are here to review the 1962 political thriller, The Manchurian Candidate, starring Frank Sinatra, Laurence Harvey, and Janet Leigh, directed by John Frankenheimer. Zero, kind of curious, what did you know about this movie before walking in?
I knew that this was a political thriller, and this seemed to be right around the time of the political Red Scare in the U.S. and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much as I knew going in.
Yeah, that's about as much as I knew, too. I saw the remake first. The remake had Denzel Washington, Liev Schreiber, and Meryl Streep in it. And I was expecting a straight-up remake, and when I watched this version, I realized how much the remake changed. Let's just get into the review. Zero, what are your thoughts on The Manchurian Candidate?
This one was a very interesting film, especially since it has a really heavy focus on the idea of just POWs coming home and potentially being sleeper agents due to the communists out in the People's Republic of China and the Soviet Union. Basically programming these sleeper agents to essentially hijack the American government and basically turn it into a vassal state of the communist regime. And for me, this period in history is just kind of interesting, since I know one of my high school history teachers, he was really big into Korean War history and the Soviet missile crisis. So this one was a very interesting watch for me, especially from the perspective that I remember that one high school teacher really going to town and just telling us just about everything he knew and had researched on the Red Scare, the Cuban Missile Crisis stuff. So for me, it was a very, very interesting watch. The ending's pretty sober, mostly because it ends in a way that shows a lot of valor, but at the same time, it's also very, very sober. So this is definitely a movie to watch with your mental faculties about. Otherwise, you're just going to miss a lot of the subtlety of just how things end up ramping up.
The differences between this is that Shaw, who is played by Laurence Harvey, he's the main character of this movie. In the other movie, Bennett Marco is actually the main character. And I think in this case, I like this story better because Raymond in this movie is someone that you sympathize with, you get to know, and you see everything that he's going through, and you feel sorry for him. I do like where they went with this one because it makes it feel more tragic, and it makes it more of a personal story. I really like Laurence Harvey in this movie. I think that he was very good as Raymond. Just as a character who is conflicted as to why he is the way he is and what he is doing and how he's trying to defeat the forces that are trying to control him. What was your favorite performance of the film?
Personally, I want to say it was Laurence Harvey with playing Shaw, mostly because you just sort of see this descent into madness as he's trying to come to grips with the fact that he realized something is definitely not right with him. And then just the one major event that happens towards the end of the movie that just kind of breaks him, that he finally figures it out that he's been brainwashed, he's a sleeper agent, and brainwashing has just completely taken hold of him. He sort of realizes and has that one pivotal moment. It's just an absolutely crushing moment.
My favorite performance is actually Angela Lansbury in this. We are babies of like the 80s and 90s. So if we know Angela Lansbury, we know her for two things: Beauty and the Beast and Murder, She Wrote. Watching her in this as this absolutely creepy, absolutely scary woman that Raymond is dealing with, and how controlling and domineering she is, she brings like a whole other dimension to what's going on with Raymond. A lesser performance would make her a lot less threatening, a lot more just annoying, which was the main problem I had with Meryl Streep in the remake. This performance that she has, I think, was really good. And really, and she was literally, I think, the scariest person in this entire movie.
To see her go from controlling mom to master manipulator, holy crap.
I was not really a fan of Frank Sinatra in this movie. The only way I can explain it is that I didn't really buy a lot of the emotional problems that he was having in the film. Like when he was having those dreams and he was reacting so harshly to them.
It seemed kind of phoned in. Maybe kind of came off as a tough friend in some cases. It just seemed like he just either overplayed it or just wasn't really just putting his whole effort into it.
That might be just the effort he had. I mean, that's probably... Frank Sinatra is more of a charismatic kind of actor, because he is essentially a very charismatic guy. I just don't think that this is a film that would utilize that charisma so much, because he's supposed to be tortured, he's supposed to be confused, having issues, and I didn't buy a single bit of it. I think my issue is that I would have preferred them to keep the brainwashing thing secret for a little while. A part of me wants to say that I wish they would have taken the brainwashing aspect and made that a reveal halfway into the movie. But on the other hand, if they did that, then you would have to put more emphasis on that mystery and less emphasis on Raymond. I don't know. Would you prefer that to be the reveal, like a twist, or did you like how they went that route?
I think the early reveal made it interesting, mostly because you got basically a foundational reason on why Raymond was going through his mental conflict of, hey, why do I seem to have moments where my memory just completely blacks out? And him trying to figure it out as you kind of go through the movie, and then you find out the main trigger of it, and then just seeing people actively using the trigger to sort of make him do whatever he's supposed to do. It's just one of those things I think that helps the movie sort of build on the whole matter of just Raymond is slowly figuring out that he's lost the ability to control himself, and even more so when he's been hit with the command trigger that makes him absolutely susceptible to whatever commands his handlers give him. As always, usually after watching the movie, I'll do some supplemental reading and trying to find some interesting facts in the movie and everything. As most people are probably aware, this movie is based on a novel of the same name. The one scene that did creep me out was towards the end, and that's when Raymond's mother ends up kissing him on the lips. I was like, ugh, that's a little creepy. Apparently, that was their sort of way of sort of respecting the novel's direction, because apparently in the novel, Raymond's mother, Eleanor Iselin, apparently was sexually abused as a child, and before the dramatic climax of the novel, she basically uses her son's brainwashing to have sex with him, because apparently she sees a lot of her father in Raymond, so she kind of goes on with this sort of incestual act. But apparently there was concerns with kind of featuring an incest scene in a film at the time, so basically they had decided for the movie depiction, let's just have her kiss him on the lips and just call it done.
All right, Zero, so do you recommend the Manchurian Candidate?
Personally, yes, I would. I think mostly it's kind of an interesting historical touchstone of the McCarthyism era. It's just got sort of an interesting sort of spiral into darkness for the main character. The ending, while sobering, it also kind of wraps things up neatly, even if it is a bit sobering. But I would still advocate on, if you're interested in sort of, I guess you could call it fictional history pieces, then this one's probably going to be a really good watch.
I also recommend the movie. I know this is considered a classic to many when it comes to like paranoid thrillers and stuff like that. I enjoyed it. I didn't find it all that great, to be absolutely honest, but I do like performances of Laurence Harvey and Angela Lansbury in this. I think my main issue is that I didn't really like Frank Sinatra in the movie so much, and then the plot line with him and Janet Leigh was kind of forced, so I kind of went into it going, this is kind of unnecessary. But overall, I did enjoy it. I guess the only question that you would have is, would I prefer this to the remake? And I would say watch both, because they're two different films overall, but I do like this one more than I like the remake, but I wouldn't say to avoid the remake at all on this. So overall, yes, I do recommend the Manchurian Candidate. Zero, you recommend it as well?
Oh yeah.
We both recommend the Manchurian Candidate. Check it out on Tubi if you have not watched it. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. All right, well, that's the end of this review. On Saturday, I'll be reviewing Star Trek Beyond. On Tuesday, I'll be reviewing The Fall Guy. And Thursday, Zero, what are we watching?
2024's post-apocalyptic action film Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
That's right. Furiosa, Mad Max saga. I got a question for you. What other Mad Max movies have you seen?
The original Never Saw Fury Road, and that's basically it.
So I've seen Fury Road and none of the others, so that's interesting. When did you see the original?
Way back as a kid, because I know it was one of the big movies my dad was really into. He was like, oh, I gotta see this. And I guess since the original movie, I think came out in the 70s, I think he ended up like renting out like a rental tape back in the mid 80s or something to watch the original movie.
On Saturday, I'll be reviewing Star Trek Beyond. Tuesday, The Fall Guy. And on Thursday, me and Zero are reviewing Furiosa. I am The Wiz.
And I'm Zero.
Talk to you guys next time. Bye.